extra week where I could bring this G63 to you live for this Q&A. I'm gonna first we're gonna answer the questions that were asked on Instagram at MilesPerHr if you wanna follow me there. TikTok also at MilesPerHr. Anyone who's tuned in live, thank you so much for joining live. We are gonna filter in your questions for sure. And guys, just wanna encourage you to use the super chat feature. So if we get a lot of questions coming in, we're gonna prioritize those super chat questions and get those answered first. Pick yourselves up a MilesPerHr t-shirts. And yeah, let's get into this live Q&A with the 21 Mercedes-AMG G63.
Hi Daniel, how you doing?
We got Patrick. He's back on, man in the camera again. Thank you, Patrick.
First question: is this competitor to the Range Rover Sport SVR Bespoke Edition, Sparsh?
Okay, so Sparsh is asking if this is a competitor. It's funny because this is almost like the same blue color. This is the one they call China Blue, and they charge an extra $6,500 for it. But it's like that same blue color as the Range Rover Sport SVR. It's actually called the Ultimate Edition, and they just announced that one. And so, yeah, in theory, they could be competitors. They start nearly the same price, $146 for that Range Rover Sport SVR, and $157.5 for this one.
Deep Voice Man just donated $4.99.
Dude, Deep Voice Man, thank you so much. You got a question? Does he have a question?
No, it's just he said G63 2021 is the best G-Wagon already.
I completely agree. This thing is awesome. So yeah, in terms of competition, yeah, it could be a direct competitor to that. I think it's actually more of a competitor for the more expensive and fuller size, full-on Range Rover, the SV Autobiography Dynamic version of that. Similar power, just kind of the same prestige and off-road credibility. The Range Rover Sport, though, definitely could be a competitor. Good question, Sparsh.
Armand just asked, can it compete with the Porsche Cayenne?
Yeah, in theory, it could be a competitor, maybe for the Cayenne, the Turbo S. I mean, we'd have to get up there in price. Not sure what the Turbo S costs. Probably pretty similar to the starting figure of this. But this is going to be more off-road capable. That Cayenne Turbo is going to have the air suspension, which will raise the ride height. This does not have an air suspension, but this does have 3 locking differentials and like 50 years of off-road cred going for it.
Danny asks, would you choose exterior color?
This exterior color, yeah, I love this color. This China Blue is really, really good looking. I love that it's not, I was just telling Patrick this before the video, I love that it's not a neon color. Like they love to throw the neon greens and the neon oranges on the G-Wagons, and that's like, it's like, okay, cool for a sec, but then your eyes are searing, especially if you see it in the sunlight. This is like, it looks great in the sun. Sorry, it's a very overcast day, so I can't show you this color like in direct sunlight, but it looks great in the sun, it looks great in the shade. Just an awesome color, and I think it's worth the money, especially if you're spending this amount of money on a car.
Someone asked, how much horsepower does it have?
The horsepower on this one is 577 and 612 pound-feet of torque. Boy, I can't. 617, I think, pound-feet of torque on this from a 4-liter twin-turbo V8. That's another thing. The 4-liter twin-turbo V8 Mercedes-AMG is not going to put in their cars for the 22 model year, so this vehicle won't even be made for 22. Patrick's giving me a thumbs down. I agree. That's a complete miss. I wish they were making it for 22, but I think they're going to be back for 23. So we'll have the G63 and the G550 back for the 23 model year, but that means you're looking at a 21, you're not going to see a 22.
Does it have wireless charging?
It's supposed to for the 21 model year, but I did not see it inside this vehicle, and I poked through a lot of it. I did the walk around video, guys, look for that. We'll have POV test drives and night drives and a full-on in-depth review that's coming on Wednesday. So look for all that stuff, but I didn't see the wireless smartphone charging, even though it's supposed to have that for the 21 model year.
Ed Star just donated right now. He shows those awesome wheels.
Dude, Ed, you are the man. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, so these are 22-inch forged black wheels. They're like a matte black finish, and in there you're going to see some drilled rotors, 15.7-inch front rotors, 14.6 in the rear. Excellent stoppers, but the wheels are awesome. And they look really good with all the black accents. We got like these door guards here, and the door handles, the black window trim. It all, like, it goes together really well. This one also has the AMG Night package. That is another new thing for 21. And so you get a lot of black details, like the spare tire cover ring on the outside, that's in black. These guards here are in black. The front grille has a dark tint to it, and the mirrors are in black with the AMG Night package, and importantly, the brush guard, that big bar on the front that's always on these G-Wagons, that's in black. And yes, that is real steel.
What is the max speed?
Top speed for this one is 149, limited to that, but I would also not want to be the one to test that out because this is a box. It is not aerodynamic at all, though it does feel very stable at speed.
Can this compete with the Audi RS Q8?
Could be a competitor. There's actually a lot of things this could be a competitor to. You got to think in terms of direct competition, and this I go much more in depth on in the in-depth review on Wednesday, but you got to think about off-road capable with kind of that prestige, power, and price. They kind of all blend together. So the Audi RS Q8, the Porsche Cayenne Turbo, you could take them off-road. They both got air suspensions. You can raise them up. You could take them off-road. But in terms of kind of being meant to take off-road, it's going to be this. It's going to be that Range Rover, and you could argue the Lexus LX 570. What else was I thinking of? Can't remember the other competitor off the top of my head, but it's in the review. So check that out.
What is the official color called?
China blue is what they call this color. It's not a metallic flake. It's sort of this, it's like a powder blue. It's really beautiful. I love this color. And Patrick's saying this Cavalier blue, is that what they call it?
Yeah.
The Cavalier blue is very similar to this from Toyota products, and they're not going to charge you $6,500 for it. That's what you get when you're paying this amount of money for a vehicle. You get an expensive paint job.
Do you consider one of your dream cars this car?
Actually, yes. It's funny because I used to really judge the G-Wagons hard. I actually made this comment on a post recently on the community page, but I judged these things really hard. I was like, oh my gosh, it's such a Desperate Housewives vehicle. But the more I spent time with it, the more it just makes me feel like a kid. And any car that makes me feel like a kid is such a win for me. You got turn signals on top of the vehicle. You've got just this super boxy shape. Yeah, it's got a little more rounded for 19 and beyond, but it's still it's such an iconic look. It's so capable off-road, and when you're driving it, as we'll see, we'll take it out for a drive, there's this feeling of power, and not like I'm an elite and you're small. It's just sort of like fun power. So I would love to own one of these one day. Yeah.
Let's see.
I'll swing over to the profile. We can show that as we're answering some other questions. I love the side exit exhaust too.
They want to hear the door shut.
Oh, okay. So yes,
famous.
One of my favorite things about this vehicle. So okay, first of all, it takes some getting used to the doors, because any other normal door, you close it like this, and that's going to be enough. But the G-Class, it's not. And honestly, I've been inside the vehicle and had to close the door like 4 times because I wasn't closing it hard enough. So you either have to push when you close the door or just absolutely shut the thing. That's how hard you have to close the door. But they're made to be closed that heavy. Like the mechanisms in here, the door closure mechanism, that is so heavy duty right there. I mean, it's just so heavy. And I'll let you hear the locks too. This is something you can hear from across the parking lot. So Patrick, let's walk back. And I'll lock it. And it's so loud, it's wild. It's wild how loud this is. All right, here we go.
Oh, that is loud.
It's insane. It's louder than the horn that honks at the end of it. I'll unlock it.
Oh, that's crazy. That is loud.
Those don't sound like that.
Star said Brabus 900 is a monster. I've seen that video,
gosh,
and that's
yeah.
crazy how quick that.
I would love to drive a Brabus. I need to find them because that would be an amazing POV video. I'd love to do an impressions on that and just a regular test drive. That'd be great.
Mike asked, does it have any voice assistant technology?
It does have a voice assistant. It's not the latest Mercedes-Benz voice assistant stuff. It can't tell you a joke or do any of that stuff, but you can say increase the temperature inside the cabin or something. Very direct commands. But yeah, that's the thing. This one for 21 doesn't have MBUX. As the door locks doing their thing again.
Johnny Matt asked, please ask him if he likes BMW or Mercedes more.
That's hard.
That's a very hard question because, I mean, it sounds like a cop-out, right? There are vehicles from Mercedes-Benz, like the new S-Class, that I definitely, and like this, that I like more than their I guess BMW doesn't really have a counterpart to this, but I like the new S-Class more than I like the 7 Series. But I would say I like the new M3 more than I like the C63. So there are certain vehicles from each of those brands I like more or less. So I can't really pick between the two, to be honest. I like them both. Sorry, it's a cop-out.
George asks, what changes would you like to see made to the G63?
MBUX. I want to see MBUX in this thing for the 23 model year, again, because they're not making it for 22. I want to see MBUX in it, and I want to see, watch my review, guys, because I'll go more into this. The driver assistance features they need a little work. They're not the latest Mercedes-Benz stuff. I've tried the latest Mercedes-Benz stuff on the new S-Class, and it's awesome. So I want to see those in here too.
Someone wants to hear the exhaust already.
Of course you do. All right, I'll start it up.
It's been driven and stuff, so it's not going to be a cold start.
Yeah.
But it still sounds pretty nuts.
Yeah. Here we go. How good does that sound? It's so throaty. It's so deep. So I mean, like you're in this vehicle, you're driving around, you just feel like this infinite power. That and the driving position is really commanding. You're just like up there, like look at it all. This is all I own. Yeah, it's cool.
Someone asked, do you like the Grille AMG G63 or the XM competition?
All right, back to the Mercedes versus BMW thing. The X5M competition? They asked X5M or
X6M competition.
No, I don't like the X6. I really don't like how it looks. Not my thing. The GLE 63, it would be more like the GLE Coupe 63. I like how that looks better. The ride quality, I would actually have to give it to BMW because they're both like kind of the same firmness, but you can hear, and this is one of my critiques of Mercedes-Benz with their air suspension, you can hear the bumps when you go over them. They like have this like crashy sound. Even though you're not actually feeling it, you can hear it. So I'm going to give the ride quality to BMW. Driving dynamics, they're very similar between the two. I would say the GLE Coupe feels a bit heavier than the X6M comp. The X6M feels a little lighter on its toes, but I don't like how it looks. I really don't. So I think it looks alone, I'd have to go with the GLE Coupe.
Deep Moist man just donated. He asked,
Thank you.
would you ever tune this G63 if you owned it?
Honestly, no. I would kind of just leave it how it is. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, so here's the thing. If I was gonna tune it, I would do like a Brabus kit, but I would not do any of the look. I want it to look just like this, but I wouldn't mind a little extra power. I mean, the power in this is unbelievable. When I put my foot down, it shocks me how quick this thing gets up and goes. Obviously, a four-wheel drive system helps. There's no loss of traction off the line, but I would say, yeah, if I'm gonna tune it, I want it to look exactly like the stock 63 looks, but with more power. It's always like, okay, fine. As long as I'm not messing with the warranty or anything. Yeah.
Danny asked, what options does this have?
So this has the paint color. It has we can look at the interior now. So it has the G manufacturer package, which includes these multi-contour, heated, ventilated, massaging seats. It's got the carbon fiber trim there in the center console and up on the dashboard. Let me close this. See more of the carbon fiber. The engine cover is also in carbon fiber. Let me pop the engine.
Yeah, someone asked that right now. So anyways.
So yeah, the carbon fiber piece on top of the engine, that's like that's like $3,700 just for that piece right there. That's one of the options, and the night package, the black details around it. Those are the options, and it costs $180, $150 as tested, $157.5 to start. So you know, 2,300, 23 plus 100. Oh, do you want me to rev it with the engine up? Some people like go that. Sounds good from any end, honestly. What other questions do we have coming in? You can also climb into, I mean, you can do more in the exterior.
Someone asked about removing the tire.
You could remove that, yeah, and I don't think it's going to have anything. It'll have this, so you can probably kind of see through here. It's going to have that little extension arm back there. Yeah, there you go. That's going to not, you won't be able to delete that unless you do some real work on it. But you can't take off the tire. Why would you though? It's like, that's part of the look. The spare tire is definitely part of the look. That's why they spend all this time and effort making a really good looking spare tire cover, body color matching, and then here with that night package in black. So I would not delete the spare tire cover.
Some of the questions we're gonna do inside because you gotta hear the wind noise, the tires. So
yeah, we'll get.
Give us a second when we do that stuff, and then I'll answer those questions.
Okay.
Let's see. How are the comfort levels from the G350D or the G63? Which one's better?
Yeah, so we don't have the G350D, but the G500 here, that's the other one here in the US that they sell, that's just the V8, it's not the twin turbo. The comfort levels are going to be the same, because neither of them have the air suspension system, they both get adaptive dampers, they got the same seating position, pretty much everything is the same, it's just the engine that's being changed and some tuning of the suspension. The dynamics, not the damper. So I'm going to say the comfort level is probably going to be the same between the two, and that is very good, very good. A little firm over certain hard hits, but I don't know, I prefer it actually to the one with the air suspension, because the air suspension, again, with Mercedes-Benz has that crashy sound to it, whereas this does not without the air suspension.
So he'll ask, are there some differences between the USA version and the EU version?
I mean, except for the fact that you guys get a diesel version of this vehicle, or sorry, the EU version gets a diesel version of this vehicle, I don't think there are other changes. I think that's pretty much it, because they're not. Some of the other things that you would see change between EU and kind of US would be the lighting, because we don't have the same allowances for certain lighting signatures like matrix LEDs. That's not a thing with the G63. They're just projector LED lights. Emission stuff. It's a twin turbo V8, so I don't think there's much you can do there between the EU and the US. So I don't think there are any other changes apart from having a diesel version in the EU and not having that here in the US.
Someone asked what type of chassis is it?
It's a bespoke chassis to the G-Class. It's not one that's shared with other Mercedes-Benz vehicles. That's why this is such a kind of wildly unique vehicle. So many other platforms. I mean, we were just talking about the BMW X6, right? The X6 is the X5 platform. The GLE Coupe is the GLE platform. You know, it's shared between models with other vehicles. This one, it's a bespoke platform for the G-Class. It's made to have those 3 locking differentials. It's made to have a big power plant. It's made to have steel brush guards and all this extra weight on it. It's built for this model. It's cool.
Someone asked, why doesn't this have the air suspension?
Just a decision on their part, and here's the thing. I think it's smart not to add the air suspension, because if this vehicle, and especially the G550, right? Like the G63, they can go off-road. You got 9.8 inches of ground clearance. Like it's considerable. The G500, and especially now they have like a terrain package for 21. That's another new thing, not on this vehicle, but for 21 they got a terrain package. You can get all-terrain tires and some skid plates and it's like different styling package thing for it. But the 550 is the one that would go off-road. With an air suspension, over time, that's something that can break, right? No air suspension, not something you're gonna have to worry about. So this vehicle, the 63 or the 550, is something that's gonna be reliable off-road and seriously capable with the 3-locking differentials for many, many years to come. So I think not having air suspension, yeah, you lose the ability to overcome obstacles that ground clearance would be an issue. You'd have better approach and departure angle, but again, that's something that can fade and break over time.
Recon asks, he's not a fan of the color. Truly is a beautiful color.
Yeah.
But in person, I think you need to see it. He
Yeah.
asked, what other colors would you choose on this?
Honestly, for me, I love this color. I just like it blacked out. I really, really do. Like the G-Wagon blacked out looks so sick. So I think I would just get it blacked out, maybe even a matte black. And I'm not always into the matte colors. This I've seen in matte black, especially the new one with these really cool looking LED daytime running lights in the matte black, looks so mean. And then you get that soundtrack, the Twin-Turbo V8 soundtrack with the matte black. It's just like, it's stealth, but it's not. Like it still stands out. I would get a matte black.
Someone asked, any news on the upcoming model and when it's going to launch?
I don't know. Well, first of all, it was just the new generation as of 2019, so they're not going to redesign it for the 23 model year, but I imagine it will come back for the 23 model year. As I said, they're not making this engine, the V8 bi-turbo, for 22, Mercedes-AMG in any of their vehicles. So the 63 and the 550 are going to be discontinued for 22, but they'll, I imagine, come back for the 23 model year.
I want to see that interior.
Okay. Yeah, let's go check it out. So, well, this is another one of the options. So you get this suede, they call it Dynamica, and carbon fiber on the steering wheel. That's another special option. And I think it looks awesome. The wheel is so cool. Aluminum trim is standard on the vehicle, and it's a really nice contrast to this Nappa leather. So that's part of the G manufacturer package. You get Nappa leather up on the dashboard. It's here on the door inserts. Looks really good with a carbon fiber. Burmester surround sound system is standard on this vehicle. It's a really sharp looking cabin. Yeah, the back seats,
Typical, I think it's.
yeah. So there's not a ton of room. I had the seat back a little further than I normally would, but I'll climb back there.
Oh, yeah. That's
So
what they asked.
yeah, so like it's 6 feet tall. I can fit back here, and I actually have, you know, like a little bit of knee room, and the foot pockets are really tall. The way this seat is shaped, these pieces down here kind of get into your shins, but you can still make this work. Someone asked, I think in the Instagram questions, taking it on a long road trip. Someone specifically asked about a five people in this vehicle. Because of its width, the center seat's actually usable. So I can sit in the middle and don't get this huge drive shaft hump. They've actually pretty leveled it in with the floor. So I can sit back here. Headroom is amazing. And that's where you get with that boxy shape. So headroom's great. You could fit 3 full-size little passengers in the back seats on a longer trip and be okay. Is it going to be the ideal road trip vehicle? Not necessarily, but you can make it work.
Someone asked, Lexus IX top model or G63 base model?
IX. I'm not familiar with the IX. LX perhaps?
LX, sorry.
The LX top model or this? Yeah, so the LX is going to be about 50 grand cheaper than this vehicle. The ride quality in that one is even better. The seats are even more comfortable. Capability is going to be pretty similar. That one does have an air suspension system. The look of this vehicle, the power of this vehicle, if you got the money to spend on something like this, why wouldn't you go this way, right? Unless you need that third row, in which case the LX is going to be your only option. This one doesn't have a third row in any form.
Oh, it has both. I didn't know that.
What's that?
Dual exhaust.
Yeah, so it's got
I didn't
dual
see
exhaust
that. I
on
thought it-
both sides.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's actually
I didn't see that.
It's a quad exhaust system, but the side exit is just so cool. That's like signature G. So the 550 only has side exit on one side. The 63 has side exit on both sides.
I didn't know that. All right. Someone asked this or the Range Rover?
The full-size Range Rover?
Yeah.
Guys, I'm not going to give you any definitive, like, buy this or buy that, except for the LX, because I I didn't mention that one in my review, or at least didn't strongly compare it. The Lamborghini Urus was another one that's like, okay, off-road capable, not necessarily the thing you're going to think of, I'm going to go take this off-road capable, but kind of like more expensive than this. You asked about this or the Range Rover. I'm thinking the Range Rover SV Autobiography Dynamic is kind of the closest competitor. Watch my review, guys. It's coming out on Wednesday. I'll go real in depth on that. Stay tuned for that one. It's going to be fun, and I'll give you some more definitive buy this, buy that kind of deal.
Icy King has also the Burmeister sound system.
Very good. Yeah, and it's a standard thing. So it's a solid sound system. It's going to be better. They've got a 4D sound system that's available. That's like kind of cream of the crop. That's up there with, let's see, I had a really good experience with the AKG reference sound system in the Cadillac Escalade. I also have the Rebel Ultima audio system from the Lincoln Navigator. I was just reviewing that. So it's, you know, it's not probably at the level of the 4D sound system that's available for this vehicle, but it's more solid than the Harman Kardon sound system. It's better than the base Bose sound systems or JBL sound systems. It's like right in there in the middle. It's like a really solid base or like standard sound system. And the speaker covers are awesome.
And you can rev it against someone.
Yeah, I'll rev it one more time and then we'll go hit the road. So it's 4 Plus, you can hear the baffles and the exhaust open up. Oh, the overrun. That's how it rides. Yeah, that's really good. All right, let's go hit the road.
That sound.
You got the door first time. Props.
Yeah, no, I've been in a couple of these.
Yeah, so you gotta shock those doors, man. And if there's any lull in questions at all, feel free to ask any of those, because I want to give credit to the folks who asked them from Instagram at MilesPerHr and YouTube's community page.
Let's see. Do you think the new G wagon is better than the old one? I have the 2018 one, which is the OG. Might want to upgrade.
Yeah, I would recommend it. So this is something I don't talk about in my review, so I'll definitely talk about it here. The 18 one, my biggest complaint with that one was what I just showed you with being able to sit 3 full-size adults in the second row seating. You were definitely not able to do that in the 18 model. So I climbed back there behind my own drive position of the 18, and I was slammed with my knees against the seat. So that is a huge thing. If you're gonna bring full-size adults with you in your G-Wagon, the new one is a huge upgrade. I also really like how the new one, it softens the exterior a little bit, but not in a way where you're like, oh, that's not a G-Class anymore. It's just, oh, look, the new Hyundai Santa Cruz. I've not seen that one yet. Hyundai and Kia are constantly testing vehicles in this area. Well, of course, because Kia's offices are right over there. Hyundai's are just nearby. But yeah, I really like how they kind of modernize the interior a little bit. Not in any way that takes away from the classic G looks, but it looks more contemporary. And you can't beat the ambient lighting array. The twin screen setup looks so good. Again, they need to add MBUX in here, but I think that the new one is probably worth it.
Since you got it and stuff, how's the fuel?
So the fuel economy, so like they say it's 14 combined MPGe from 13 city, 15 highway, so you know it's not going to be great either way, but that's the EPA rating. I've not seen any better than 12 miles per gallon, and that's driving pretty conservatively. So 11 to 12 is kind of the range. It's a 25-gallon tank, so you're not going to be rushing to the fuel station all the time, but you know, you're going to have to set aside some extra cash.
Someone asked, this or the Range Rover Sport Ultimate Edition?
Yeah, so I talk about that a little bit in the beginning of this video. You could see them as competitors. Similar price tag, 146 for that Range Rover, 157 this one. But I don't know, I think I probably have this.
Okay, so straight from the Instagram questions today. How's acceleration?
Awesome.
You are psycho ass.
Okay. So acceleration 0 to 60 is in 3.9 seconds, says Car and Driver. Mercedes-AMG quotes 4.4. I believe the 3.9 because when you put your foot down, so I'm in Sport Plus now, you can go into manual mode. It really throws you back. It really throws you back.
Sparsh asks, is this a competitor to the Range Rover Sport SVR Bespoke Edition?
Yes, it would be a competitor to that. I think it's probably more of a competitor to the full Range Rover SV Autobiography Dynamic. Oh, that soundtrack.
Yes, it does push you back.
That doesn't get old at all. Feel free to, Patrick, you can show some of the road too, just like here and there. Some people get tired of looking at my
saying
face.
the reception's pretty bad right now. No, I'm pretty sure it's the overcast and stuff that we're not getting over reception and stuff.
Okay.
Let's see. Is it still bad, you guys in the chat?
Yeah, apologies for that if the reception's kind of cutting in and out. Definitely want you guys to hear this.
Yeah, can you guys let me know in the chat if the reception's better? No? Okay, cool. Thank you. Planet Jupiter asks, do you think the G-Wagon is overrated?
Used to. I don't think that anymore. I really don't. It's a pretty awesome, unique vehicle. If you're just buying it because you just have the money and you want to go get a toy, then I think you're not fully appreciating what this vehicle is and the experience of it. If you understand and you do value it, not overrated.
Someone asked from the Instagram, Sharmila, G-Wagon, Land Rover Defender V8 or Jeep Wrangler 392?
Yeah, so this is a fun one because, like, obviously all V8 powered vehicles. Defender V8, haven't driven it yet, so I can't give you my impressions on that. The Wrangler 392, oh gosh, that's shockingly, that's actually a really good competitor to this one. A lot less money, 75, you can buy 2 of those for this. And it doesn't necessarily have the same prestige. That one's a little more under the radar, at least until you put your foot down. But I loved that thing. So, yeah, I don't know, 2 of those or one of these. If you got the money for it, just get one of these perhaps, but if you don't, the Wrangler 392 is a pretty awesome vehicle.
Yes, and asks, G-Wagon or Lamborghini Urus?
Yeah, so that's another would-be competitor. The Urus is a lot more
price range, right?
It's a little more expensive. It's like 220
220
for the Urus, and this one's 175. 157, sorry, 5.
I think the base model is close to that, no? Like
the
Urus?
The Urus base model is 220.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh,
that's
okay.
the entry level price for that one is 220 with destination, and this is 157.5 with destination. 180 is tested, so now we're getting closer. But yeah, I'm gonna let you guys watch the review for my kind of definitive thoughts on that one.
There's a good question actually. The same person and stuff, Gassan asked, maintenance, fuel, depreciation from specifically from Lamborghini and Mercedes.
Mercedes. Yeah, that is a good question. So you asked about depreciation, fuel economy. Fuel economy I already referenced, like 14 miles to the gallon quoted combined, but I've been seeing 11 to 12. Depreciation, well, let's talk about maintenance costs. That was another thing you asked about. I looked it up, that like kind of the annual cost you can expect for a G63. There's one in matte black. Did you see that?
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think that was a Brabus one.
I think it was.
Yeah, we got to catch up
because
to
of
that.
the
Okay.
spoiler.
So,
the official color is called China Blue.
China Blue, yes. The maintenance costs are about $1,000 a year for a G63. For an Urus, it's $5,000 a year. So there's that difference in price, not just to start, but the difference to keep it running. $5,000 a year. That's because you're thinking the brakes on that are so overbuilt that, you know, servicing those alone, you need new pads or rotors or whatever. So expensive, one of those. The oil changes are going to be expensive. The tires are obviously going to be very expensive. So, like, the maintenance costs on an Urus versus this are going to be considerable. The difference, it's like 5x for one of those. The depreciation, I'll again cite the price tags, right? So if you're starting at 220, if you're losing even like 5-10 grand a year on the value of the vehicle, that's a lot more than you're losing, you know, probably two, three. Oh yeah. Trying to get up to this is probably a Brabus.
Yeah, it is.
Dude, I need to ask this guy.
It definitely is.
Look at
You
this.
could have the tags in the back.
Yeah, Brabus 63.
Wow.
So okay, so I would take the Brabus tune. I don't like the body kit. I like the matte black, but I don't like the body kit.
Yeah, sometimes they overdo it and stuff,
Yeah.
but
That's sick. But yeah, I like the matte black, just not into the body kit.
Master K asks horsepower.
577, my mistake, and 617 pound-feet of torque.
Kana asks daily driver for daily driving.
Yeah, this would be fine for daily driving. It'd be great, actually. You could just leave it in sport or comfort mode. We're in sport right now. Leave it in sport or comfort, and I'm gonna like shift it up, and so we're just gonna sit it in 6th gear, just cruising 2,500 RPM. It's relatively quiet for being a box. You've got dual pane glass, really comfortable. Seats are super comfortable.
Yeah, seats are actually comfortable.
Yeah.
That makes you, yeah.
Right? Like they're good seats.
Leading to that question, Crypto Extra asks, is this a good road trip car for a family of 5?
Yeah, so I kind of answered that earlier in that, like, yeah, not a long road trip, I would say, just because not being able to fully stretch out your legs in the back seats. If you're dealing with full-size adults, kids, they'd be fine back there. Full-size adults, I'm gonna say, like, after a long time, the tension of the legs is probably gonna build up. But a shorter trip, yeah, a couple hours, no problem. This would be great. And I want that guy's card for the Brabus. I want to try
Pull over. Ask
his
him.
car. He's driving. I don't know how I'd get his attention.
Yeah, I think we should slow down. That'd be pretty cool, man. Doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah, I might ask him.
Yeah. Get right next to them, just honk.
Anyway, what other questions we got rolling in?
Anything new compared to 2020?
Versus 2020, the AMG Night package is a new thing, and the wireless smartphone charging, which I couldn't find.
Let's see, another question. Let's see. Does it have the new Mercedes-AMG X or?
Does not have MBUX. You've got the twin screen, the twin 12.3 inch screens, but it doesn't have MBUX. That's not there. I don't think I'm just stalking him.
Let's see. Lucas King asks, is it the best SUV off-roader?
Best, no. I'm gonna say if you want something this size, even larger, off-road capability, it's probably gonna be the Lexus LX570 or the Toyota Land Cruiser, but it's pretty freaking good. If they added air suspension, again, this is why like it's a trade-off thing. If they added air suspension, it would be even more capable because then you're going to improve your approach and departure angles. You're just able to overcome more obstacles. But then again, that's a thing that could break. So I'm going to say the best luxury, full-size SUV off-roader is probably going to be the Lexus LX570.
Cameron asks, how's the material quality?
Material quality is very good. Like all the leathers feel fantastic. The aluminum trim feels great. They didn't go too crazy with the Pinot Gloss Black. There probably would be more of it if you didn't have the carbon fiber. But yeah, it's all pretty darn good.
Let's see. Price with tax.
So as tested, 180 grand, and 150 is the full price. The starting figure is 157.5.
Someone asked, why didn't add air suspension for this?
I talked about that earlier in the video. It's really just it's a decision about things, adding components that could wear out and probably break over time. And just, this is a very heavy vehicle, and their air suspension systems, except for the S. That would be another one that's pretty heavy that they probably engineered. That you could probably put the air suspension from the GLS. I don't know. I'm not sure why they haven't chosen to do that, except for, again, just it being such a unique vehicle. They wanted to stand out even more. You add in air suspension, it starts to get more like other Mercedes-Benz vehicles.
Atomic 918S. How is the ride quality compared to the other Mercedes models?
So that, I mean, kind of ties in directly to the air suspension thing. I would argue it's just as good and perhaps even better. Oh, look, it's the Brabus guy. I wasn't even trying to do this.
You're gonna ask them.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him.
I'll ask him. Excuse me. Would there be a possibility to do a car review on your car?
Say again?
Would there be a possibility to do a car review on your car one day?
Yeah, actually, man, you guys can come to my shop. I own a shop in Huntington Beach.
Oh, really?
Yeah, called Corsa Motorsports.
Corsa
Yeah,
Motorsports?
Corsa Motorsports.
Could I give you a card?
Yeah.
Here, can you run this out real quick? That's not one with my name on it. Hang on. Here we go.
We got a exotic car rental company, and we do Brabus exhaust too. We got a bunch of my vehicles.
Well, that Brabus is sick, man.
We were just talking about it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just
Yeah,
talking
'cause
about
I
it.
review cars, and so I'm reviewing this G63, and so
nice.
I was just checking. We were talking about Brabus on the video. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a Brabus right there. What's your name?
Awesome. My name's Shaheed.
Shahid Miles.
I'll
Very,
hit you guys up today when I get to the office. Maybe we set up a time for you guys to come to the shop.
dude,
Oh,
that'd be
cool.
awesome.
All right.
Thank you
Nice,
so
man.
much.
Thank you.
It's
Cool,
great to meet
man.
you. That's so funny.
And that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Cool person.
Yeah, really cool.
Beautiful car. Look at that.
Yeah, look at that. It's super cool. You look good in it.
Have a good one, fellas.
You too. So yeah, hopefully we'll get that Brabus on the channel. Would you guys like that POV drive? I think you would.
Oh, man, that's gonna sound nuts. Look
Oh
at that.
my God.
Oh, look at that.
And he's just gone. What's wild is I know the acceleration of this, right? I know how this accelerates, and that just looked even weirder to see a box accelerate the way that does. Just nuts.
Someone asked, what's the difference between the hybrid card and the plug-in and hybrid?
So
Mythical creatures.
yeah, so it's funny this question. Obviously, we're not talking about anything related to hybrid with the twin-turbo V8. But I left this in there because I just wanted to answer the question. So they're asking about plug-in hybrid versus conventional hybrid engines. A conventional hybrid engine cannot function independent of the gas engine, right? So it's just a component with the gas engine to improve the fuel economy, to use electrification, to boost your range and not use as much fuel. The plug-in hybrid versions of those cars, you can have the electric powertrain function independent of the gas engine. It's for a certain amount of range. Typically plug-in hybrids these days are getting like 50 to 70 miles of range, or even less, like 40 to 70 miles of range. But you could just charge the vehicle and only use that electric power to get around for short distances in a day. That's what people like driving. It's been around for a while, but the Chevy Volt, right, for example. You could just drive the Bolt. No, the Volt. Yes, the Volt. You could just drive the Chevy Volts, and not use the gas, and that's why gas goes stale actually in those tanks. People have to use the gas after a while, otherwise it's just going to go bad.
9S asked, how comfortable are the seats in the back for adults while you were back there and stuff?
Yeah, so I mean, I'll go more into that in the in-depth review on Wednesday, but they're pretty comfortable, especially because they got the kind of bolstering that these front seats have, and for the side passengers, they're really good. Even that middle seat was pretty comfy. Nice padding in the seats, and there's good thigh support here. So the seats aren't really short. The bottom of the seats aren't too short, so you got thigh support. They're really comfy.
Let's see, other questions.
Any others coming in on YouTube?
Let's see.
So I want to definitely prioritize those folks who are tuned in live. Thank you for joining, guys.
Horsepower Reviews asks, what sounds better, the G-Wagon or Trackhawk?
That is hard. So you got that supercharger whine with the Trackhawk, but this I feel like, I don't know, the exhaust in this one sort of emanates across the entire vehicle. So, but I love that supercharger whine. I might go Trackhawk.
Yeah,
I
Trackhawk, it's
Dude, the supercharger one with then the Hemi V8 that takes over after that is unreal. I'm gonna go Trackhawk. Yeah, it's
Harsh
close.
asked, what's the difference between the Brabus and AMG? There's a lot.
The Brabus, they do a full tune. They do the body kit if you want that. I think it's on most of the
You
vehicles.
can do a lot of stuff.
You can do a ton of stuff.
It's unlimited.
They'll
what
do
you can
brakes. They'll do suspension. They'll do, like
Interior,
Brabus will do.
everything.
Yeah, they'll do like bespoke interior options. There's a lot of changes that Brabus will make to the vehicle. You want to see turning radius?
Yeah, someone did ask that.
It's not great. It's not great. Yeah. Passable.
So, Javier asks, is the X5 the best, or do you prefer any of this of its rival?
So we're looking X5, Mercedes-Benz GLE, Porsche Cayenne, Audi Q7. A lot of great options in there. I do really like the X5 quite a bit. That might be where I go with it. I like the look of it. I like the interior. The technology is great. Their iDrive system is solid. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go X5 over like the competitors I mentioned. The Cayenne though, the way the Cayenne handles is pretty incredible. You do have to pay that extra money for it. I think it starts like 15 grand more than the X5, but the handling is awesome.
And currently, right now, it's almost 9 in the morning for us Americans here in California.
Yep.
Let's see.
Is someone asking the question?
Yeah.
What time is it? It's 9 a.m.
Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, the people asking about whether this is a good daily driver, it absolutely is. It's comfortable. The visibility is awesome because you got the big, tall windows. Seats feel great. Your seats don't have it, but my seats have the bolsters that move.
Yeah. I've driven one and they hug you each time that you move. I love that.
It's
stuff,
so cool.
Man.
I love it. Yeah,
Unnecessary,
exactly.
but I think you need it sometimes.
Sometimes, because like you could slop around in the seats, right? But the bolsters that hold you into place, it's pretty awesome.
Let's see. Sparsh asks, this or the Range Rover Velar?
Yeah, the Velar isn't really a competitor to this.
Yeah.
It's a smaller vehicle. People asked about the Sport and the full-size Range Rover. More of competitors to that. And guys, I'll again plug you towards the in-depth review that's coming on Wednesday this coming week. And yes, it's on Wednesday, not on my typical Monday, because we got that holiday here in the U.S., Labor Day. So I want to honor that, and we're gonna post it on Wednesday.
Someone asked, what is so special about this G-Wagon? Color?
Oh, God.
Color?
I mean, about this particular,
this one, yeah.
this particular one, I think the color is
right?
fantastic, and you're not gonna see many of these. I haven't ever seen one in this color. The G-Wagon itself, there's a lot that culminates in this one model that makes it special compared to what else you could spend money on. The vehicles we mentioned, the Lamborghini Urus, the Land Rover Range Rover, the Lexus LX 570, other vehicles of this price territory, 150K and up. This is a look that's just totally iconic. The power is there, the sound, the theater of it is there. Yeah, it's just a lot that comes together to make it special.
This is an interesting question. Someone asked, what is the max water fording depth of the G-Wagon?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know that off the top of my head. I know that because it doesn't have something like an air suspension system, it's not going to be as much. And I mean, I don't know, because there's more than just the ground clearance that goes into that. It's how they've set up the engine, where it intakes air or water from. But I don't know the water fording capability of this off the top of my head. Sorry, guys. Probably not going to be as high as the Range Rover because it can jack itself up more.
Personally, for being in the car and stuff, I love the noise from the engine. It is, I might say, it's kind of noisy.
It's a little
wind-wise?
Little wind noise, yeah. Again, it's an unaerodynamic box, so you got to blame that for a lot.
But overall, I mean, I drive a Mercedes too and stuff, and I think it's a little loud. Yeah.
Yeah.
From
It's
other
a lot,
Mercedes. I mean, S-Class, obviously that's going to be super quiet and stuff.
Super quiet. They do a lot with the insulation for that one. They do a fair amount of insulation in this one. It's really, a lot of it, guys, comes down to the shape of the vehicle.
Yeah.
It's a box. So you're trying to put a box at high speeds through air, it's going to generate wind noise. What impresses me is, I'll go into this more in my review, the road noise and the tire noise is very minimal, especially for 295 section tires. It's not generating a lot of tire noise.
Someone asked, how safe is this?
The NHTSA and the IIHS U.S. governmental or third-party testers have not crash tested the G63. It's got its full components of full componentry of airbags, and it's a big metal box, so it should do just fine.
Oh, that's a good question. YouTuber Car Spotter Guide Mike asks, how much can you tow?
60. No, I thought it was 7,300. It's actually 6,500 pounds.
Off topic question.
Sure.
Do you know if there's a $25,000 paint option in Range Rover Sport?
Probably. I mean, sure. So here's the thing: when you get into the bespoke side, the customization side of these ultra luxury brands, you can spend any amount of money on a paint. You can get, I've heard of a guy who, Aston Martin, he took a moon rock, a rock from the moon, crushed it up, and scattered it in a paint job for his Aston Martin Valkyrie. So you can get as wild as you want. I'm sure, I guarantee that Land Rover's SVO, Specialty Vehicle Operations Department, could rack up $25,000 in a paint job.
Wild Monkey asks, is the suspension stiff?
It's firm.
It's firm.
You can feel the bumps for sure. Is it really disruptive? No. No, like not to the point where you're like, I wouldn't want to daily drive this. This is totally cool.
Robert asks, BMW X6 or GLE Coupe?
So we already answered that, Robert, earlier in the video. Those two exact cars. So check that out earlier in the video.
Let's see.
We're probably going to wrap it up because it seems like we're kind of regurgitating questions at this point. But any last ones we want to throw in?
I'm pretty much answer all the questions from Instagram.
Awesome.
Let's see. Just going over. That's a good question. What sedan would you like the comfort of the G-Wagon to?
Oh, what's the difference? Yeah, so I mean, it would be a firmer sprung sedan, but it would probably be more like it's not even as harsh as something like an E63 or a M5. Like it's a little softer riding than those even. So I would say probably an M550 BMW. That's kind of like the suspension firmness that I'm feeling here, where it's firm, but it's totally manageable. The firmness actually makes it feel like the car is livelier. I wouldn't want something that rode like a boat. I wouldn't want a boat riding experience in the G63. That would not be the desirable driving experience. So I think it's well sprung, well damped. M550 is probably the sedan I would equate it to.
Dr. Finney asks, how do you feel about the G-Wagon going electric?
Have they confirmed that yet? I don't know if they've actually confirmed that. If they have, my mistake, but I don't know if they've actually confirmed that. This would probably be one of the last ones I would imagine them to go electric with. I'm gonna put my foot down here on this.
Okay.
Did you feel the nose just lift off the ground?
Damn.
It's wild. And the wheel gets squirrely too.
Yeah, that moved.
Yeah, and that's with 295 section front tires and the steering wheel's going. It's just so much force of the acceleration.
I feel the metal parts. They feel.
I mean, they're aluminum, right? So
Yeah.
it's not going to feel like heavy built steel. They're aluminum plated pieces, so they're going to feel a little flimsier than more thicker metal, solidly integrated But the texture feels great. The fact that they get cold to the hand is really nice.
Yeah, that's a good touch.
And again, I like that there wasn't too much use of piano gloss black, especially as equipped with the carbon fiber here. I would pay the extra money for the carbon fiber just to not get all the piano black.
Yeah. Someone asked, what's your best luxury brand in your opinion?
Best luxury brand? Boy, that is a loaded question. As it kind of, I had the debate earlier, right, of BMW versus Mercedes. No luxury brand does everything perfectly. There are certain models they come out with that I'm just like, why? Why did you do that? Or I could just tear them apart in terms of little details that I just didn't enjoy about them. So there's not one, again, it's gonna sound like a cop-out, there's not one that I'm like, this is the best, they've done everything perfectly. That the greatest number of good models together, if money wasn't an object, Porsche always delivers the stuff that enthusiasts really appreciate. They always come in with great steering, great dynamics, good engine notes, sometimes amazing with certain engines. I'm not talking about their turbo 4-cylinders. So I'm going to say Porsche always kind of delivers in the things that enthusiasts really value, and I am certainly an enthusiast. So I'm going to say Porsche probably has the greatest number of those.
Someone asked, what's the main difference between a normal G-Wagon base model and a AMG G-Wagon?
About 150 horsepower and about 30 grand.
Okay. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Let's see. What drives better, the X5 competition or this?
Drives better how? If we're talking off-road, it's going to be this. If we're talking on-road, the high center of gravity in this vehicle is not going to make for the best handling. And so it handles admirably, and we'll see more in my reviews and POV drives, but the X5M competition is just even better sorted. It's a lower riding vehicle. They're not really making as many compromises to off-road credentials as the G-Wagon is, and they're not changing the shape of this vehicle. So I'm going to say the X5M is going to handle
0 to 60.
3.9 seconds says car and driver, which I really do believe. 4.4 from AMG.
Someone asked, why do people like the G-Wagon?
Oh, there's so many
I mean,
reasons. But here's it going through a corner. And yeah, the nose can plow a little bit in certain places, but you put more into the throttle and the back end comes around.
Feels stable, right? I mean, would you say stable?
Yeah, I would
like
say stable.
Planted, like
I would not want to take that corner
anymore.
a lot
yeah.
faster than that. That's kind of like as fast as I would take it, but it feels pretty good for it being a box.
Yeah, no, someone asked that. You did that.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's your opinion on Alfa Romeo?
Some of their cars are just fantastic. I really, really, really enjoy the Giulia Quadrifoglio. That's a great vehicle. The 4C, another really fun one.
Have you driven that?
Yeah, I've driven that one. Their interiors are like, and if we want to throw it back, the 8C Competizione, that one is just a beautiful car. I wish they would bring that one back. But their interiors are never as nice as their German rivals. The styling looks really good in certain models, not in others. So I love Alfa Romeos. Would I own one? The Stelvio Quad, I could really see myself owning and having a lot of fun with that. That one is just a feisty little SUV. I love it.
How do the brakes feel?
Brakes are, I'm not going to answer that. I want you guys to watch my review. I want you guys to see the review. I don't want to give my full review in this live Q&A. So definitely, guys, check that out on Wednesday.
Top speed, you said
149. 149, and again, because of its shape, I wouldn't necessarily want to go any faster because you're really fighting some physics at higher speeds with the wind in your face and potentially under the body lifting it up.
Some of the questions are just the same.
All right, well, we're probably going to wrap it up, guys, because this has been a really fun live Q&A. but I think Patrick's probably got some other things to do today. And I have enjoyed being with you in the G63, and I really encourage you to watch my POV drives, the walk around, and the review that's coming up this coming week, and starting actually tomorrow, the first POV drive
Someone
goes up.
said do a horn test.
The horn test, okay, we can do that. Yeah.
Typical Mercedes.
It's typical Mercedes. It was a little higher pitch than I thought. I
Yeah.
thought it was going to be deeper.
Yeah.
It was a higher pitch.
Yeah.
Someone also said, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to do this. Who asked this? Someone asked for me to drive off a curb.
Oh, that's right, but that's outside. I don't know
Yeah.
if you want to do that.
Yeah, sorry for whoever asked about that.
I'll get the name right
I
now.
apologize.
I did see that. I totally forgot about
Yeah,
that.
drive off a curb. I liked the question.
Oh, Paul asked that.
Paul asked about that one. Sorry,
Drive
Paul.
off a curb,
I'm not gonna have a
please.
chance to drive off the curb before we end this video. And I didn't do that in my review either. I tried to keep it on the main road. But I like the question. I like the enthusiasm. I did do the horn test. You asked about that too. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your Friday, and I will see you again next time. Thank you, Patrick, for manning the camera and asking your questions.